Now that you have the basics of projectmanager.com, let's put it into action and actually plan a project. Let's plan a birthday party. First, start by clicking on the New tab. We'll discard the changes in this one and create a new project. Let's call it Chiquita's birthday party. Okay, press create. And you can see the task list here. Let's start just by entering some basic tasks. You can say we're going to brainstorm. We're going to decide theme. We're going to determine the guest list. We're going to determine size, purchase supplies. We're going to put the invitations, decorations. I'll hire a caterer. Determine menu. And select the venue. Pay enter. Okay, as you can see, we have a list of tasks here just to get started. Certainly not an exhaustive list, but it was enough to get us started at the beginning. Just going to scroll over here so that we can see. And we have these small little bars here that are the beginnings of our Gantt chart here to the right. And as we typed in, it pre-populated on the side. So as we make more changes here, the more the Gantt charts will form. So keep an eye out on the right-hand side of the screen as I'm making changes. Indent and outdent are very important. We have our primary task and subtask that we want to list. So when you want it to make a subtask on our primary task, you just simply use the indent button. So we're going to indent decide theme, determine guest list, and determine size. And as you can see, a bar starts to form here for the primary task, and then the 3 subtasks are still listed underneath. Our next primary task is purchase supplies. We're going to indent our invitations. We can see the bar form, and also our decorations. Our next primary task is hire the caterer, determine the menu as our subtask, select a venue is our primary, and pay the vendor is our sub, and we're going to indent it. Now let's start to change our dates, and we'll see these bars get longer or shorter based off our dates. So let's start by selecting our theme. We want to decide our theme by, let's say, the 25th. And then we want to determine our guest list. Let's determine our guest list on the 24th, but we want to finalize our guest list by the 31st. Okay, then we're going to determine our size. We need to know our size prior to knowing our guest list. So let's just say we start that process on the 23rd, and we will end that process before the 31st, so the 28th. So let's say that we're going to start purchasing our supplies. Let's start purchasing on the 31st. And we want to end that purchase process by the 5th of November. With our decorations, can also start on the 31st. But let's have our decorations by, let's say, the 7th. Okay, and we're going to determine our menu. We want to have our menu planned. We'll start that on the 1st and finish that process by the 10th. And let's pay our vendor. We want our vendor paid. We'll start maybe on the 3rd. Let's close that. That was an accident. And we'll end that process of paying the vendor by maybe the 10th. Okay. As you can see, our Gantt chart has begun to form, and we have a pretty good overview of what our Gantt chart should look like. Okay. So now we can start assigning people to these tasks. So for the brainstorm phase, let's assign someone here. Okay. Anthony has 29 hours available, so we're going to assign him to deciding a theme. Michael is going to help him determine the guest list. Ramiz is going to help him determine the size. I'm going to put Joe on our invitations. And myself on the decorations. And so on and so forth. And you get the picture. We can go down and keep assigning people to the task. Now, another thing to delineate, these bars are all looking the same. They're all blue. But to delineate the difference between the bars, let's say we decide to click on invitations. We can go here to the color palette and we can change the bars beneath to orange. And that will help us give some delineation from the blue bars above. And then maybe for determine menu, we can change it to a lime green. And for pay the vendor, we can maybe change it to purple. All right. So you can, at a high level overview, see everything pretty quickly. Now let's take a look at how we would link. So let's start here with this bar, pay a vendor. Let's say we want to determine the menu prior to the venues. So we're going to click on link here. So let's select determine menu. We're going to go from start to finish perhaps. Or we could go from finish. Let's go from start to finish. Or finish to start. Let's try finish to start. And you can see how your links form. And you could do the same again here. You could click on a link again. We could link it to decorations. And we could go from finish to start again. And you can see how the Gantt chart moves and forms at that point. Okay, let's take a look at our reports and our dashboard now that we have our project together. We're going to save the changes to our plan and take a look at our dashboard. In terms of time, you can see that we're 3% behind schedule. And our workload, we still have 7 tasks to be completed. We have our plan completion, actual completion, slippage. If we had a little bit more data, we could see how this would play out. None of our tasks are complete, although there are remaining, but none are overdue. Most are not yet started, none are complete. And a few is complete and none are in progress. So if we go back to our project and maybe scroll over, let's take a scroll. Let's complete Anthony's portion and Joe's portion. Now they have 100% next to their name. We migrate back to the dashboard and we save it. Now we're 18% ahead of schedule. We have actual completion and we have some tasks here that are showing complete. We show that Anthony and Joseph are 100% completed. And we didn't set a budget for our project, but if we did, it would be listed below here. Our brainstorm session is 26% and our purchasing supplies is 40% complete. And this gives you a high-level overview of what it's like to start a project in projectmanager.com.